one way in which people can go wrong when constructing philosophical essays is to try and define the key terms in the question in a way that is too restrictive. So if we think back to the free will question that we were considering before, about whether free will is something that's compatible with the laws of physics, it seems like if I arbitrarily choose one definition of free will that makes the question simply come out to say yes. So for example, if I said free will is all about, feeling free, and that's something that's definitely compatible with physics. So that's the answer. That seems like I've done a bad answer there by making it almost too easy for myself, and I've defined. I've almost finished the essay just by making this definition. And so, one of the things we want to avoid with particularly key terms, so in this case moral intuitions, in that case free will, is avoiding defining our key terms too controversially. So there's lots of literature on how to define moral intuitions and lots of different nuances that you guys, I'm sure, will come across in your research. One of the things that I want to um, bring up today in particular is this one definition that I think is quite useful, which comes from Sir Armstrong, Young, and Cushman. And they define moral intuitions as being, quote, strong, stable, immediate moral beliefs. And so there's initially something that's a bit controversial here is thinking about intuitions as beliefs. I think other people would consider intuitions as things that go on to justify our beliefs. But there's a question here about whether this is going to be something that's important, or whether it's something that is kind of a distinction without a difference. So for now, we ought to go into those other qualifiers. So we know what moral beliefs are, i.e., these are beliefs about the moral, about the moral domain, beliefs about our moral environment. But strong, stable, and immediate, these seem to be things that are differentiating intuitions from other kinds of moral beliefs. So moral beliefs that we might have after more kind of reflection. So intuitions are meant to be strong. So by that we mean that they're kind of held with confidence. So if you imagine a moral intuition of yours, this is something that shouldn't be kind of in the middle. It should be something that you think of as a kind of strong instinctive reaction to some moral phenomena out in the world. It should be something that makes you feel strongly in a certain way, whether that be something is strongly morally good or something is strongly morally bad. The second feature that they suggest that moral intuitions have is resisting counter evidence. So what they mean by this, and this is something we're going to come on to by the relationship between moral theory and moral intuitions, is that even if I'm presented with a moral argument which suggests that my intuition might be incorrect, it doesn't seem like that intuition can go away, or at least not very easily. So to take a kind of example that we're going to look at more in future lessons, we might think of the trolley problem. So there's a trolley going towards a track with 5 people on it, and then another track with 1 person on it, and you're given the option about whether to pull a lever to switch the track, to switch the trolley from the track that it's on to the track with 1 person. And this is a classic example of a philosophical thought experiment that's meant to generate intuitions in people. And for a lot of people, the intuition that comes up here is that he ought to pull the lever and switch the track. And this is my intuition as well, but we can imagine that if I was presented with an argument that seemed very convincing to me that I shouldn't pull the lever and switch the track, instead I should leave things as they are. The important point here is that my intuition shouldn't just go away. If it's a genuine moral intuition, it seems like the theory should be kind of fighting against the feeling. And so even if I get counter evidence, there shouldn't be something that kind of gets rid of my feelings. Instead, moral intuitions are meant to be stable in light of this. Okay.